Good evening. Welcome to Bringing Learning to Life. Justin here, coming on to talk with you tonight about keeping your perspective on your why. I think that in many careers, sometimes we're very passionate about it in the beginning, and then over time, sometimes we can lose that sense of purpose of why we even wanted to do this thing in the first place. That can happen in anything, whether it be, getting married, that you just thought you wanted to have this person in your life, and then now your why is gone. It could be with any job. It could be even sometimes in college. You think that you want to major in this career, and then all of a sudden your why is gone, right? And so this happened to me as a teacher. I grew up wanting to be a teacher. I played teacher with my siblings. I used to make them be my students, and teaching was just kind of in my DNA. And as I started teaching, I was just very passionate about it. I woke up every day, ready to get up out of bed just to make a difference in these kids' lives. I knew it was my calling. And over time, I just kind of felt my why diminish. And I feel like I let other things come between me and my why. I knew that I wanted to teach kids because I wanted to help them learn how to ask the right questions. I wanted to learn how to help them understand how to debate with each other and have a good dialogue with another person without being disrespectful. I knew I wanted to teach them how to treat each other kindly and not stereotype people, and just really understand the history of our country and this world and how it impacts them today, and help them be problem solvers. And I just had all these dreams and aspirations for everything that I wanted to do as a teacher. And the reality of teaching sometimes doesn't mesh up with what we envision when we're 10 years old. And a lot of things got in the way of my why. And I allowed that to happen, and I allowed it to cloud my why. Sometimes people come in and they have programs that they think that you should be teaching, or that you should do, or some type of prescribed curriculum, or sometimes there's just such a focus on testing in the culture of education that we live in, that our why and what we know is best for education and for students gets clouded. And that's what happened to me. I got to a point where I didn't enjoy waking up in the morning and going into my classroom. And I knew it's because I wasn't teaching from my heart. I wasn't necessarily always doing what I knew that I needed to do for students. But sometimes, things were out of my control. And so I let other things get in the way of the reason why I decided I wanted to become a teacher. And I think this often happens to many teachers, and especially with all the pressures that are facing teachers right now. I talk to many teachers that are so concerned about their evaluation at the very end of the year that is based solely on a single test score. And I tell teachers all the time, I don't think any of us got into teaching to teach kids how to take a test. Yet that's what so many teachers, they're the reality that they're faced with, and they feel like they're going to a classroom every day to teach kids how to be good test takers, to teach kids how to take a test. And so if you're at that point where I was, I just want to challenge you to, one, fight for what you know is best for students, and two, take a step back and reflect on, what it is that you may want to do. Because what I had to do was step out of the classroom for a little while, and I realized through that many teachers were feeling the same way, just like me, that they had just lost that sense of their why. And I realized that there needed to be someone there to help teachers. And so I became an instructional coach. I kind of shifted my role. Still meant I cared about students, still meant I loved the school I taught at, and I loved the district I taught in. I just needed to shift the way I was doing things. And even since then, my job has shifted again. And again, the reason why I even put out these videos and I put out this blog is because it's my why right now. And so you may need to think as a teacher, maybe you need to shift some things. Maybe you need to think about shifting a grade level. Maybe you need to think about shifting the subject you teach. Maybe you teach math right now. Maybe you need to think about teaching science, something new, something fresh, something that's calling you. We know those inner voices that's, inside our head, and we can really trust our gut instincts that, we know when it's not right, and we know when something's maybe calling us in a different direction. Maybe something's calling you to maybe even go be an administrator and step out of your role as a teacher. All I'm saying is obey your instincts, and if you're like me and you feel that your why for getting up out of bed every morning has kind of been taken away, just take some time this week and reflect on what is your why. Why did you initially go into teaching? And then how is it that you're spending your time? Because there's a great quote, and there's actually a whole video about it by Michael Jr. that says, when you know your why, your what becomes so much more important, and you can do that what, and it's so much more valuable. And we see that time and time again in many professions. And if you can even think about like a mother having a baby, she knows her what is having that child. So her why for those 9 months of being healthy and doing all the right things to just take care of that baby is very important. The same is true for teaching. Remember your what and your why to be really able to make sure that you're walking in your purpose and you're not burn out or just going to a job and feeling like you're spinning wheels. So take some time this week, think about it, and just really reflect on it. And remember, if you're like me, remember that 10-year-old little girl that was inside of you that wanted to be a teacher and why she wanted to be a teacher. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.